All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to tackle a big topic, network security monitoring. If you've been looking at your lecture notes and they feel, well, a little dense, you're in the right spot. We're going to turn all that confusion into some serious clarity.
So, have you been staring at pages and pages of notes about all these different data types and implementation steps, and it's just making your head spin? Yeah, I get it. Don't you worry, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to build this thing up step by step, concept by concept. Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We'll kick things off with the why, the foundation of it all. Then we'll get into the balancing act you have to do. After that, we'll explore the whole spectrum of data types, look at a real-world implementation playbook, and we'll wrap it all up with a handy study guide to get you ready for your exam. Sound good? Let's get into it. All right, section 1, the why. Let's start with the most fundamental question of all, right? Why is recording all this network data so incredibly important for security in the first place?
Well, here's the bottom line. If you're not recording what's happening on your network, you are completely flying blind. It's like trying to solve a crime with no evidence. This data recording, it's the absolute bedrock, the foundation for any kind of security investigation. Everything, and I mean everything, is built on top of this.
Okay, on to our next section, the balancing act. You know, collecting all this network data isn't as simple as just hitting a big red record button. Before you do anything, you've got to make some really key decisions about how much detail you actually need to capture. And it really is a balancing act, you know? It's always a trade-off. You've got to weigh all 5 of these things against each other. What's your network look like? What's your budget for things like storage and processing power? What do the privacy laws say? And what are you actually trying to accomplish? Are you just troubleshooting, or are you doing deep digital forensics? There is no single right answer here. All right, this next section is really the heart of your lecture notes. We're going to dive into the 5 different types of data you can collect. A great way to think about this is that each one is like a different kind of security camera, right? Each with its own unique view and its own special purpose. First up, we have full content data. And honestly, the best way to picture this is to imagine you have a 4K super high-def video camera recording every single nook and cranny of your building 24/7. It captures absolutely everything, every whisper, every piece of paper passed, every single bit and byte of data. Nothing gets missed. Now, this is one of those slides you'll want to pay close attention to for your exam. Full content data. You'll also hear it called full packet capture, or just FPC for short. The tools you'll use are things like Wireshark and TCP dump, and the data gets saved in formats like PCAP. These are the industry standards, so definitely lock those terms away. Next up, we've got packet header data. So if full content was that 4K video feed, think of this more like taking a super clear, high-res photo of everyone's ID badge as they walk in the door. You're not recording their conversations, but you see who they are, where they're from, and where they're going. It's way less data, but still gives you some incredibly useful detail. And here we go. This table just perfectly illustrates that trade-off we were talking about. See? Packet header data gives you that super valuable who, what, and where information, but it costs a fraction of the storage and processing power that full content data does. It's a really, really efficient choice for a lot of situations. Our third type is session data. Now, this is like your building's main sign-in logbook. It's not recording conversations, it's not taking pictures of ID badges, but it tells you something just as important: who came in, when they came in, who they talked to, and for how long. It's all about mapping the flow of those conversations. So here's the big payoff for that trade-off. Because session data is so much smaller, so compact, you can afford to keep it for a really long time. We're talking months, maybe even years. And that is huge for spotting those slow burn, stealthy attacks that might unfold over a super long period of time. Okay, number 4 on our list is statistical data. I want you to think of this as the security guard's hourly report. It's not focused on individuals at all. It's the big picture stuff. Hey, 100 people came in the main entrance this hour. Or the 3rd floor was the busiest today. It gives you that high-level 30,000-foot view of what's going on. And last but not least, we have alert data. This one's simple. It's the alarm bell. It's not a camera that's recording all the time. Instead, it's a system designed to go off, to ring really loud and create a very specific record only when something specific and potentially bad happens. Think of a fire alarm or a window breaking sensor. So, when that alarm bell rings, what does the alert actually tell you? Well, this slide breaks it down. You're going to get a clear, short message from a security tool, like an intrusion detection system, or IDS, and it's going to tell you exactly what it saw and where it saw it.
usually in a nice standard format like syslog that's easy for other computers and people to understand. Okay, fantastic. So now we understand the 5 different lenses we can use to look at our network. But how does this all work in the real world? How do you actually put this into practice? Let's take a look at the implementation playbook. So this is basically your step-by-step checklist. And notice how it flows, right? You start with the why, the strategy, and the risk analysis, long before you ever touch a piece of hardware. Now, step 5 mentions SCPN ports. That's just a technical term for a feature on a network switch that lets you copy traffic. Basically, it lets you listen in without getting in the way. And maybe the most important step, number 8. It's about people. You have to get everyone on board, management, legal, IT, or the whole thing can fall apart.
Wow, okay. We have covered a ton of ground, right? We've gone from the high-level theory all the way down to the nitty-gritty practical steps. So let's bring it all home. Let's boil it down to the absolute most important points you need to lock in for your studies and your exams.
Look, if you only remember 5 things from this whole explainer, make it these 5 right here. Number 1, data recording is non-negotiable. It's the foundation. 2, deciding how much detail to capture is always a balancing act. 3, you've got to know your 5 data types, inside and out. 4, remember the big trade-off. More detail means more cost and more storage. And number 5, putting this stuff in place is a planned strategic process, not just a tech problem. If you get these 5 points, you have absolutely nailed the core concepts of this lecture.
All right, to wrap things up, I want to leave you with a little thought experiment to really apply what you've learned. Picture a hospital's network. This is a super sensitive environment, right? You have to protect patient privacy like it's the most important thing in the world, but you also have to watch out for really serious cyber threats. So, thinking about those 5 data types, which 2 would you pick to strike that perfect balance? Give it some thought. It's a fantastic way to check if you've really got it.